restaurants were really full across the island. I know that the restaurants are really happy yesterday. So I'm glad to see that people were going out to lunch, spending time together as a family and making memories.
Yeah, indeed, I am too. Glad that people got to. Of course, we were on lockdown last year, but we do want to remind people, even as they go out and enjoy the liberties that that have returned to us, we want to do so responsibly. Mark, those numbers continue to go up, and so we encourage people, of course, to, wear your mask as much as possible, to make sure that you're social distancing as much as possible, to make sure that you're using your sanitizers, you're washing your hands as frequently as possible. And speaking of that, Mark, we actually want to remind people that we want to invite them to Doctors Hospital free webinar tomorrow. It happens Tuesday, May 11th at 7 p.m. They're having something called COVID-19, Where Are We Now and What's Next? So I want to encourage people to attend that webinar, Mark. And in addition to that, as soon as the webinar is done, they can go on over to the Eyewitness News Facebook page or turn it on TV and check out the first national debate series that happens tomorrow night as well. We get started at 8 p.m. Looking forward to that also.
That should be very exciting. I am too looking forward to that.
Well, we've got a great show to look forward to today, Mark. I'm really excited about some of the segments we have coming up. Who are you speaking with this morning, Mark?
Yes, we do have a great show today. We're going to talk to the author of the book, The Strong Ones, and find out what it really means to be strong. And the Zest Wellness team is back to teach us how to decrease our risk of strokes and heart disease. Very helpful tips.
Yeah, two very important conversations. Looking forward to those. We'll also bring you a portion of Joy Jibrilu's presentation from Grand Bahama Business Outlook. And we're going to be checking in on the island of Andros in our Island Buzz segment. Mark, I know you spent some time traversing those bushes, right?
Oh yeah, big yard.
Well, we've got all of that ahead for you and more this morning. But before we get to any of it, we're going to take a first look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
Thank you, Star. Good morning, Bahamas. And your first look at weather at Sunrise. We have high pressure predominant across the islands. We have some troughing across the southeastern islands. And that will create some shower activity in the southeastern islands today. This may be one in Arbor, Crooked Island. Weather today, partly sunny, very warm. Chance of few showers on northwest Bahamas. Variable cloudiness with some showers. Possible thunderstorms across the extreme southeastern islands. High temperature 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, looking at partly cloudy and mild. Chance of a few stray showers. You look going down to 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And some regional highs and lows across the Caribbean. Barbados 83 and 78. In Jamaica 85 and 71. In Trinidad 82 and 75. And the Texas and Caicos Islands 88 and 73. Across North America, Atlanta 73 and 65. In Raleigh 78 and 61. In Miami 88 and 78. In Dallas, Texas 72 and 64. And Toronto, Canada 51 and 36. As you go to the week, high pressure continues to dominate the feature. So we're looking at partly sunny skies, chance of a couple of showers. The temperature daytime will be in the upper 80s, at nighttime in the low to mid 70s. But we do see the final boundary moving here sometime late on Friday into Saturday, and that will increase our shower chances with some cloudiness, showers, and possible thunderstorms for the weekend. Temperature daytime then will dip into the mid upper 80s at daytime and the lower 70s at nighttime. That puts up your first look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Star.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. I am so excited this morning to interview this phenomenal woman. You might have heard of her before. She wears so many hats in so many communities, but she, of course, is psychologist, Dr. Giavana Jones, and she's the author of the book, The Strong Ones. This morning, we're going to be talking to her about examining the true meaning of strength, right? We like to use that word often, and we kind of put labels on it for other people and then treat them a certain way based on what we expect them to be or do based on the strength. And so we're going to be clearing that up this morning as we speak with who I get to affectionately call Dr. Gia. Dr. Gia, good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me.
It is our absolute pleasure to have you with us. It's, of course, Mental Health Awareness Month. And as we continue to kind of break down the barriers associated with mental health in the country, I think it's important that we start to have conversations in language that people can understand. One of the things that I think that includes, of course, is this idea of strength, right? And so from your perspective and the perspective of this book, which I've had the privilege of reading, what do most people think strength means?
For I'd say the average person, and I do think there are some cultural contexts to this, so we will speak from the perspective of Caribbean and Afro-Caribbean. Strength tends to be this lack of emotion. It is this space where we are perfect, even though we know internally that we're not, but we are giving off this facade. We wear a mask, we present ourselves that in a way that suggests that there's no needs, we don't need somebody else, and we're perfectly okay, whether it is by ourselves or whatever our bubble is.
Yeah. Dr. Shea, I was actually thinking about this like maybe 2 days ago, and thinking about how I know some people who weren't raised to ask for help, right? As if like asking for help is some sort of bad thing. And I was thinking about that because I had that mentality up until maybe I was about 23. And then I realized this makes no sense. I cannot do this by myself, right? You too, right, Dr. Shea? And so, yeah, we have a lot of different things that surround the idea of what we think strength looks like, of how we take on emotions. And I think that sometimes that causes us to kind of get exhausted emotionally. So what roles do you think we take on that exhaust us emotionally and can sometimes lead us to have a breakdown in the facade, right? Whether people see it or not, we're tired. What causes that emotional exhaustion?
So from the perspective that I presented with the book, I developed, and I was mentioning to your producer earlier that, this work is in progress. So I am an academic, a researcher at heart. And so I am always looking for ways that we are going to strengthen and make it more true for the representative sample. So I say that, and sorry, I propose 4 profiles. So we've got people who are either kind of masking their strength by helping others. And so that's more of the profile that really connected with me, because I am a helper by heart. So not just my own training as a therapist, but I am that person who I want to be everything for everybody. Like I will burn myself out for it. And then there are those who are more inward with their strength and kind of their facade, and it is more protecting of their self. And so these persons I've identified as rocks. And so they are more the ones, when you look at them, you're like, they're kind of in their own space. And, we normally are like, don't fool with them. They've got it all together, they're good. And what happens though is this facade causes people to not connect with us deeply. So they know that they can usually reach out to us when they need something. They know that they can dump. They know that they can get good advice. They know that they can, the myriad of things that they can access from us. But normally for us strong ones, when we are asked how we are doing, or do we, we never ask for help. And so people just assume that we're okay. So by assuming we're okay, and I hear this so often now, we end up being resentful because we're like, well, nobody's ever there for me. I can't tell you how many Facebook posts I've seen where it's like, well, I'm there for everybody. Why is nobody there for me? And my question is always, have you opened yourself enough to show and this is not something that you do with everybody in your life, but safe spaces. Have you opened yourself to say, hey, I'm not okay in this moment, or I do need help, or, that hurts, some kind of expression of humanity that suggests that, I am not perfect and in this space where I've got everything together. So resentment occurs, bitterness. Then there is just this emotional fatigue, because there's only so long that you can go ignoring your emotions before they start manifesting in other places and ways. And so then they start seeping out, and you become that person that nobody really wants to deal with, because you may be fine for a little bit, and then you go, and then there's this kind of big meltdown or experience, and then it really freaks people out, because it's like, well, where did that come from? So you see, I just kind of following these profiles and looking at people's experiences, and even my own experience, which is where this emerged from. I just find that it's just this depleted state where we give or we withhold so much that there is not enough of the pouring in that occurs when we are in relationships. And so ultimately, if I say what the crux of this book is, it is really challenging us to explore how are we connecting with others? Because most times this facade of strength causes us to stand at a distance when we should technically we should be in relationships with at least one person who can see us and still affirm us and love us, and we don't have to be perfected or together or done up in some way.
Right. And Dr. G, you mentioned the word relationship several times there, right? So how do we actually go about building healthy relationships? How do we look for these safe spaces, these safe harbors in other people, and then genuinely connect, right? I think it can be hard, Dr. G, especially if you're an adult, to talk about connecting with people if this has not been your modus operandi all along. So how do we build those healthy relationships?
Absolutely. So I would recommend, so of course, there's a lot that feeds into this, because as a psychologist, then my first question is, was there a traumatic experience that you have had? So if you have had key significant experiences with maybe a parent where they were not there, where there was abandonment, rejection, then my recommendations for building relationship is going to look a little different as compared to somebody who may not have necessarily experienced such a major traumatic experience. Because what we find is that when this first model of connection, which is the parent-child relationship, when that, and we just celebrated Mother's Day, right? When that connection is not ideal, then people end up with these broken ways of seeing themselves, and so that hinders them and undermines their ability to truly be in relationship, because they're either responding from the place of, I need to protect myself because everybody's going to leave me, or they're responding from the place of, I need to grab a hold of whatever love I'm going to get because I'm not sure they're going to stay. But as you can see, it's still this unhealthy place. And so when it comes to trauma, then I'm going to say, okay, before we talk about our relationships, let's process those wounds and process those in a safe space. So I'm not going to necessarily say to somebody to just extend themselves in relationship. But if you're somebody who you said, well, mom and dad were pretty normal, it was okay, or mom or dad or grandparent, or, some significant person that I had that spoke to me and, I was affirmed and all of this good stuff, then I'm going to say that you, for me, and I know same for you, Star, we are praying people. So I always start with, ask God to show you who the person is. If you are not somebody who are of that Christian faith or have those deep spiritual beliefs, then I'm going to say that you look with the eyes of your heart. And I say that, and that sounds cheesy, but I do think if we look for people, if we look for things and we're really open to it, and that's why I said the eyes of our heart, then we're actually going to find, because there's always somebody, there's always something. It's just that when we come from a place that we're closed, most times what we are doing is saying that we're doing something, but because we're not truly open to it, we don't actually see what's always in front of us. But when I talk about in the book, healthy relationships and building them, I talk about taking small steps to give of yourself. So admitting to somebody, saying, hey, I'm not okay, which I know is huge. Even for me, married 13 years, and I'm probably like just 5 years in admitting to my husband, because he met me like this. And so he's so used to me kind of having everything together. And I'm like, look, 2 kids later, multiple jobs, all of these hats, you're super busy entrepreneur. I'm like, I'm not okay. And I think for the first couple of times I said it to him, it was like, what you mean? And I'm like, no, we need help. This is something. And so, but you say it, and it may have a shock factor with the people who are around you. But I think even the shock factor causes them to take a second look at you. And then that in and of itself then deepens the relationship, because now if you are asking for help, then that causes them to need to take, again, the second look and have to connect in a way that is more deep, because now this tells him that, hey, I may need to check on Gia a little more, or I may need to ask her where she needs help. And so then that opens it up, and then, these baby steps and these increments forward. So it is this huge, and I say it's huge, step of being vulnerable, of saying to whoever it is that has showed up and has been in your space, because for most of us, there is at least one person who has been there, but actually extending ourselves and saying, I'm not okay today.
Yeah. So Dr. G, I'm sure I know I've read the book. There are lots more. There's a lot more information in there. You've got a revision coming. This book is perfect for groups to use as well. How can we get the book, one? And then how can we connect with you? If we hear some of the things you're saying and it's resonating with us, we're thinking we may need some time to just talk with you one-on-one. How does that happen as well, please?
Sure. So the book is called The Strong One. It's redefining strength and finding your true identity. It is listed on Amazon, and you can find it under that name. If you type in The Strong One and Dr. Giavana Jones, just so that you know, this is how it looks, the cover of it. And also, it's also available at Stylistic Ladies Boutique, which is in Palmdale. I also have copies, but most people have just been securing it online, and that's been working. The revision and any way to reach me can be accessed through my website. So that's giavanajones.com. And Giavana is spelled the Bahamian Italian way. So it's Giavana, Jones.com. I can be found and followed on Facebook, Instagram. It is Dr. Gia Jones. And Facebook, it is the Dr. Gia Jones. So if you type in Dr. Gia Jones on either of those platforms, my face is going to pop up. And I am happy to connect with you. I do provide therapy on weekends. So I have a full-time job. So my therapy, I tease people and I say, it's kind of like my side hustle, but it is my heart. And so it's a small therapy practice. And, but yeah, those are the places that you're easily going to be able to find me.
Awesome. Dr. Gia, thank you so much for joining us this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise. Congratulations again on the book and continuing to help us to reassess what it looks like to be strong. I appreciate you joining us this morning.
Thank you so much, Star. Take care.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
First, it's more than just our name, more than just our achievements. It's our nature, and it's where we put our customers. At Bahamas First, we've refreshed our look, but our nature remains the same. We design insurance solutions that protect our customers from life's uncertainties. Whatever they may be, we equip you for the future so that you can recover stronger. Bahamas First, what's first for you comes first for us.
Mental health is health too.
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 Like your physical health, mental health is health too.
Welcome back. At our recent Grand Bahama Business Outlook, the Director General of Tourism, Joy Jibrilu, talked about tourism that benefits host communities and the need for local innovation and entrepreneurship to add uniqueness and authenticity to the tourism product. Here is a portion of her address. Enjoy.
It's important for us to note that in the midst of these changes, there is opportunity to reset or change the way that we do tourism in the Bahamas and on Grand Bahama Island in particular. Gravette said it perfectly. Many visitors are seeking unique and authentic local experiences and products, and this has the capacity to provide many Bahamians the opportunity to innovate and turn their innate knowledge, skills, and interests into products and services that visitors are really willing to pay for. In this respect, we're talking about the potential for the local development of more new sustainable livelihoods, Small and medium enterprises that provide unique local products, attractions, activities, experiences, and tours that can help to define a new image for Grand Bahama and attract visitors to the destination. It's encouraging that a number of small and medium-sized hotels and other establishments are now open for business again. It is known that small and medium enterprises are the engine that drives sustainable development, representing about 90% of businesses and more than 50% of employment worldwide, according to the World Bank. So, what if more ordinary Grand Bahamians could contribute to and build the local economy and tourism product, and then benefit more reliably and sustainably from the tourism industry? We know, and our experience has proven, that building consumer demand is the key element that drives airlift and draws hotel partners to a destination, and that organic growth starts with the development of the tourism product and the resulting image of the destination. Anything else that we can do can be perceived as just a band-aid on the problem of what can be seen as a weak tourism economy. They stave off the end for a while, but it won't be sustainable over the long run. The reality is that measures such as airlift support, hotel subsidies, and cruise subsidies, they are costly for our country and sometimes possess the potential to skew market demand and even devalue our tourism product. This makes it very difficult for us to sell the destination to discerning travelers. The silver lining in all of this, as anyone who knows Grand Bahama can tell you, is that despite the losses that it has suffered, the blows that it has taken, Grand Bahama is so full of potential. From the historic and cultural West End, to ecotourism in the East, to city tourism in Freeport or Lucaya, their natural attractions, outdoor activities, historic sites, cultural traditions, culinary techniques, native crafts, and knowledge that all can be drawn on for inspiration to create those businesses that can tap into the increasing desire of travelers to experience what is truly local and unique in the places that they visit. Let's take the experience of our family islands as an example of what's possible. Over the years, family island tourism has been all but bulletproof, with stopover numbers trending generally upward year over year, driven by the island's appeal to travelers who are drawn by their natural assets and outdoor activities, easy pace, family-friendly environment, friendly locals, and the vibrant local culture. Most importantly, their visitors stay longer on average and spend more, especially outside of the hotels. More and more visitors want to live and eat like a local, learn about our history and culture, as well as learn about iconic industries like our sponging, boat building, and agriculture business. They want to learn to cook local foods, try their hand at local crafts, attend local events, view local entertainment, and even volunteer to lend a hand to local causes and rebuilding efforts as we saw after Hurricane Dorian. They want to buy locally produced goods, not just arts and crafts, but also unique local food and beverage products, things that remind them of the great times that they experienced while traveling and the great people that they met. And in listening to Gravette talk about the tourism product that's being rolled out by Alive, I mean, it's as if she read what I was going to say. It speaks to this very issue. However, in the post-lockdown environment, visitor numbers will be lower for a while. And in the face of this reality, industry advocates like the UNWTO and WTTC are encouraging destinations to take the time to consider what they really want from tourism so that they can build back better. In this context, meaning tourism that benefits host communities better, focusing more on quality to increase tourism revenues with smaller visitor numbers. We all know and agree, Grand Bahama needs stability and resilience, and this can be built in part on local innovation and entrepreneurship that adds uniqueness and authenticity to the tourism product, providing the places to go and things to do and see that visitors are always asking for. Sun, sand, and sea will never go out of style, but many of today's visitors want more. Diverse offerings and a unique and authentic travel experience in an environment in which tourism benefits local communities. This has implications for what can and should be done to strengthen Grand Bahama tourism going forward. In this regard, many see future destination sustainability and resilience is being built on low density, high value tourism with a strong cultural and environment component that supports more local SMEs that employ more locals with hotels, cruise lines, and other large employers, also buying local and supporting the diversification and growth of our local economy. The recently announced home porting of cruise ships in the Bahamas ties into this concern to expand the real value of tourism to the country through linkages for provisioning and refueling, as more cruise passengers actually spend more time and money in country as stopover visitors. Competition in tourism is global and intense, and the Bahamas is not the only year-round warm weather destination. Moreover, despite the recent trials and the apparent volatility of the tourism industry in general, tourism has definitely risen in stock as a major global industry over the years, and for good reason. For the Bahamas and other Caribbean countries, tourism has been a reliable driver of socio-economic development, our greatest earner of foreign exchange and tax revenue for our governments, and a vehicle of poverty reduction and human capital development for our people. Further, as an industry, tourism is resilient, typically maintaining growth and performance even when most other industries suffer. And when it takes a blow, tourism always bounces back, usually sooner rather than later, and often stronger than ever. The Ministry of Tourism continues to actively market Grand Bahama Island as a unique destination within our 16 islands of the Bahamas, and we stand ready to support local producers and service providers with avenues for training, marketing, and sales support to improve operations and market reach. We also note the broader efforts of the central government to improve the business environment and its support for local business development, including through the work of the Small Business Development Center. We know that Grand Bahama Island has been challenged, while at the same time, the country, the world, and the tourism industry have seen dramatic changes. But we believe that even in the midst of adversity, we can find and seize hold of opportunity to return the magic to our magic city and hope and prosperity to all Grand Bahama Island. We will continue to play to Grand Bahama's strengths in partnership with the local stakeholders to position Grand Bahama Island to benefit from its advantages through tourism.
At Sunrise kicks off the new year in style with a fashion series hosted by yours truly. It's Fashion with Cardell McClown, your guide through all the seasons, from challenges to interviews to fashion shows. We'll help you create your style, build your brand, and celebrate the best in Bahamian fashion. It's big, it's bold, it's Fashion with Cardell McClown.
The sports we play depend on the health we build. So let's stay healthy. Wear a mask and practice social distancing and hand washing to protect yourself and others. Remember, COVID-19 is not a game.
A public service message from the Bahamas Olympic Committee.
The COVID-19 pandemic demands the most modern techniques and highest standards of sanitizing to ensure the safety of schools, businesses, churches, and of the ones we love. Treeline Divine Professional Sanitizers offers state-of-the-art electrostatic technology, providing maximum efficiency and coverage to protect your environment and preserve your health against mold and 99% of bacteria and viruses, including COVID-19. With pricing to match your budget and standards to meet your highest expectations, we invite you to contact us for a free analysis of your weekly, monthly, or single-use needs. COVID-19's impact is strong, but our commitment to restoring your safety is even stronger. Treeline Divine Sanitizing. Spread confidence.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're at the halfway point and what we hope will be a marvelous Monday for you. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
I am muted. Good morning again. This is Mark Daniels filling in for Phil Simon on this marvelous Monday.
So Mark, you know, this is Zoom, right? And we can hear you. So I was like, wait, is it Mark? Is it me? Like you never know, like is my internet shut off? What's happening right now? No, but that's the beauty of a live show and then COVID, right?
Yeah, and then cats, and then also children getting ready. So there's a lot happening.
I understand. I go on mute every single time I'm up because I never know if you guys are going to hear the baby cry. My husband's working out outside. Like, you know, this is what it is. But of course, it's a pleasure to still be with you on Bahamas at Sunrise. Thank you for staying with us. We still got more to come in the second half of the show. And so we're glad that you stay tuned. We're going to be talking with the Zest Wellness team. They're back to give us some more advice, particularly on how we can be preventing stroke and heart disease. So I'm looking forward to that conversation, Mark.
Yes, definitely a good conversation. Always good to have Zest Wellness on the show. And then I'll be checking in with one of my favorite islands in the Bahamas, the Big Yard, Andros, on our Island Buzz segment. I'm very much looking forward to that. But let's take a second look at weather with Brother Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
Thank you, Mark, and good morning, Bahamas. Yes, second look at weather at sunrise. High pressure still the dominant feature across the islands. We do have some troughing across the Southern Islands. I will cause some showers over the mid-morning and our Crooked Islands today. In the marine forecast, those winds today, east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, 2 to 4 feet in northwest and central Bahamas, east to 15 to 20 knots, 4 to 6 feet over the southeastern islands. On Tuesday, across all the islands, winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, 2 to 4 feet. Those winds will increase by afternoon to 15 knots, building 3 to 5 feet. On Wednesday, those winds southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots, 2 to 4 feet over the northwest and central Bahamas, continuing east to southeast at 15 knots, 2 to 5 feet over the southeastern islands. Yes, highs. You can expect a high tide at 7:47 this morning. Next low tide will be at 1:54 this afternoon. High gain this evening at 10 minutes past 8. Sunset 7:43 this evening. Rising to 6:27. UV index 8. Your water temperature 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And the moon phase now moving towards the new moon. So a look for the weekend. So otherwise, partly sunny skies. Chance a couple of showers during the daytime. So temperature daytime will be in the upper 80s for daytime, mid-70s at nighttime. But we do expect the frontal boundary to move in to the area, increasing our shower chances on the weekend. We can expect some showers and possible thunderstorms on the weekend. So temperature daytime will be in the mid-upper 80s at daytime and the lower 70s at nighttime. That's what's dropping in front. Look at the weather sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Star.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. May is National Stroke Awareness Month, and we're going to be taking a look at prevention with our Zest Wellness team. So happy to have Donovan Ingram. He's the Corporate Wellness Manager at CG Atlantic, and Naval Miller, who's Assistant Wellness Coordinator at CG Atlantic, join us this morning. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
Morning, Ned. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man, a pleasure to have you both with us, Naval. I'm loving the background today. You caused me want to just ditch the whole sunrise thing and head straight out to the water. I don't even know what the weather is like out there, but it looks so good. Donovan, today we're talking to Bahamians about, taking care of their bodies, making sure that they're doing the things that they can, right? Some things can't be prevented, but as much as possible, if we seem to eat right, if we seem to exercise, we can do some things to prevent ourselves from getting too sick. So what are some of the suggestions you're going to give to Bahamians today to help to manage or to decrease their risk of stroke and heart disease in general?
Well, stroke has become a prevalent disease all around the world. Around the world, about 15 million persons die from a stroke each year, according to the World Health Organization. And risk factors include age, gender, race, and ethnicity. But most importantly, high blood pressure leads to the risk of stroke, lack of exercise, smoking, diabetes, high cholesterol, and even obesity in some cases. Additionally, there's new research to say that even sleep apnea, migraines, gum disease, or even certain infections can also lead to the risk of stroke. So we have to take a very holistic approach. And so I always smile when you have our offline chats because we get it, in every aspect of life. It seems that you have to eat well. That means you eat a very high vegetable-based diet. And then also you need to exercise, whether it be weightlifting, weight-bearing exercises, some cardio resistance exercises, but we got to do something. One of the most amazing things I think you can do is also be sustainable. I encourage persons to start backyard gardening. It's a great form of exercise. And at the same time, it gives you a lot of great nutrients that you can consume for you and your family. So we definitely encourage that. Atlantic House has done our garden space, and we share those vegetables with our staff on a regular basis. Over the last year or so, we've given away almost 125 vegetable bags to our staff, all in aid of protecting them against chronic diseases like strokes.
Wow. That's awesome. Congratulations, farmers, because that's what you guys have turned into as well. You're not just our CG Wellness coordinators anymore. You guys are officially farmers now that you're giving away bags of vegetables. But I have to agree, Donovan, my mother-in-law takes her garden very seriously, and she takes care of it like you would a child. But we've been able to reap so many great things from it. It's dilly season now, and there's always fresh fruit in the house. At one point we had our own backyard garden as well, and we would grow cucumbers and tomatoes, and it really is helpful and exciting to be able to pick your own food and eat your own food. And so
and then when you get home and you're preparing those meals, it's like, wait, I grew this and I'm getting to eat it. It's something that you can enjoy as a family or individually, so I think it's an experience, and you don't really get that experience until you embrace it. So we do encourage persons to start to be more self-sustainable in some forms, even if it starts with herbs like rosemary and basil. Start with the easier things and then work your way to the harder items.
Okay. So one of the things that you guys do offer, of course, not just vegetables to your staff, but great information for us all, is on physical activity. And so, Naval, I'm going to come to you now and ask, how beneficial is physical activity at reducing a person's risk of stroke? And then bigger than that, Donovan gave us the example of the garden that you guys have over at CG Atlantic House. But what activities do the CG Zest team have to help its members this month in particular kind of get that ball moving?
Yeah, man, so basically, based on research by the World Health Organization, daily physical activity can prevent strokes by strengthening your heart. It also helps to lower your blood pressure. It also helps to improve your cholesterol numbers as well. So it gets rid of those bad cholesterols that are blocking your arteries, and it increases or improves your blood flow. And then lastly, definitely when you're exercising a lot and you have a certain routine, you will start to notice that your heart endurance is starting to increase. So now you have added heart capacity to take on those much more difficult workouts. And that should tell you alone within itself is actually improving your heart, improving blood circulation, which would decrease your risk or prevent you from getting stroke. Now, from the CG Zest Wellness side, activities that we have coordinated thus far for our members, first are drop-in fitness sessions, which are powered by Evolve Functional Fitness, located on Rosetta Street. Where each one of our members are eligible to attend at least 3 free fitness classes per week. So that's 3 free fitness classes per week with Evolve Functional Fitness.
Question.
Right.
3 free sessions period or 3 free sessions per week? Because as you're saying per week, and that just have me like,
Yes. So that's why I'm trying to reemphasize that there's 3 free fitness sessions per week. So each one of our members, each one of our CG Zest Wellness members are eligible to attend 3 free fitness classes per week. Right, exactly. And they have classes ranging from learning to swim for beginners, master swimmers, yoga classes, boot camp classes. Definitely the summer's coming up, so everybody wants that summer body. So take advantage of those offerings. Echoing the sentiment to all CGS Wellness members. We have 3 free fitness classes at Evolve Functional Fitness Center. Now, added to that, we have virtual offerings as well. We have our virtual fitness classes that are featured on our Instagram page on Tuesdays and Fridays at 11:30 a.m. So even if you're not a CG Zest Wellness member and you're just looking forward to getting some kind of physical activity ongoing in your life, we encourage you to visit our social media page. That's at CG Zest Wellness, where you're able to access those free virtual fitness classes on Tuesdays and Fridays at 11:30 a.m. Additionally, we have our Will feature, which is a world-renowned mental health feature, but that also has yoga physical activities incorporated in there. So definitely, if individuals who want to embark on those yoga exercises to increase their strength, increase their muscle flexibility, we have that yoga feature as well. And then recently, Donovan and I just launched our first virtual Great Zest Challenge, where we are encouraging our members to work in groups, socially distant groups, and engage in certain physical activities for a month period, and then they will win a grand prize at the end. So we're trying to get very, very creative. Obviously, we know, COVID has slowed down all of the the face-to-face activities, and we have embraced this virtual environment to still deliver our best product to our members.
Awesome. It sounds like lots of things happening. So we really have no excuses, right? Especially as CG Atlantic members. You get to do so many things. And then I love that the Instagram page is free. You can join that at 11:30 on a Tuesday or a Friday. And so anybody can be part of that. So really, you guys have been creating opportunities for Bahamians to really take their health seriously. Donovan, Naval gave us a whole list of resources. But what are some of the other resources that the CG Just team have to assist Bahamians in managing these risk factors associated with strokes? And where can we find them?
Well, we can't forget our nutrition advice. I'm an advocate for nutrition advice. So we do have some podcasts available. Recently, I did a podcast with several local nutritionists here in the country. The podcast is called Meet the Nutritionist. That was with Dr. Patty Simonet, Dr. Andros, and then Shandira Smith. 3 very renowned nutritionists in the country. A great listen, guys. So I encourage you. It talks about everything from women's health to how to lose the first 5 pounds, how to get those abs, everything you want to know. So, and definitely some advice, of course, to reduce your risk of stroke. But we also have other webinars and podcasts available on our wellness blog. So we encourage persons, go and check out our wellness blog. The link is www.cgzestwellnessblog.com. Okay, again, www.cgzestwellnessblog.com. Okay.
All right. So those are, of course, great resources. Donovan, I love that podcast. Always some great information hanging out there. And then, if we wanted to do more in terms of accessing information about CG Just Wellness, of course, you guys have the website that Donovan told you to go to, but Naval, you guys are on YouTube and stuff as well, right?
Yeah, we definitely have a YouTube page as well. And you could subscribe to our page. That is CG Zest Wellness. That's very, very simple. So go into your search bar. I know a lot of people search a lot of YouTube videos. Just put in CG Zest Wellness, and you will find a wide array of our mental health topics that we covered. Not only nutrition and fitness, but also mental well-being. We did a webinar for mothers right now who are struggling with working from home, work balance, and also trying to make sure focus on our child who's doing homeschooling as well. So we had those webinars published there as well. So check out our YouTube page. That's CG Zest Wellness, and then Donovan mentioned our Zest Wellness blog page. Again, that's www.cgzestwellnessblog.com. And to stay up to date with all of Zest Wellness offerings, we encourage you to follow us on social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And our social media handle is CG Zest Wellness.
All right. Well, Donovan and Naval, we want to thank you so much for joining us this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise. I always love to hear from you guys. You're a constant reminder to us that this can happen. And I was telling Phil, I don't know if I got to tell you guys, but a friend of mine, she's a swim coach, and she was telling me the other day that her mom actually has lost about 15 pounds already. And she started the journey just listening to us talk on Bahamas at Sunrise about getting health together. So these conversations matter. And so I'm grateful that you guys joined us again this morning. Wishing you all the best for this week.
Thank you, Star, and keep up the great work. And also, I love our conversations offline, so let's keep it going, okay?
Always. I got to hit you up with something right now. I got a tennis match coming up, Donovan. I need some help.
Oh, sounds good.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be back with more after this commercial break.
Our world has changed. Many businesses have been closed for months with little or no access to their customers until now. Rev Media can help you remain connected to your customers. Our trusted customized advertising packages and personalized consultants will provide your business with immeasurable support during this challenging time. Your customers are already watching. Rev Media can help you to remain connected. Call us today. Let us help you.
Mental health is health too.
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 The Bahamas and the world has been waging the war against COVID-19 for over a year now. In that time, much of our daily life has been irreversibly changed by lockdowns, job losses, and deaths in our families. As facial masking, hand sanitizing, and social distancing have become the new norm, the team at Doctors Hospital applauds the Bahamian public for doing your part to control and contain the spread of the COVID-19 virus. It is time to take the fight a step further. With the COVID-19 vaccine now available, we encourage Bahamians to continue the fight and do your part in getting vaccinated. Please continue to be vigilant, wear a mask, and social distance. For more information on the COVID-19 vaccine, visit www.doctorshosp.com. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now. Isn't your health worth it?
Welcome back. Did you know that geographically, North Andros is the 6th largest island in the West Indies? Andros is the largest island in the Bahamas, has the 3rd largest barrier reef in the world, and is known as the world bonefish capital. Here to talk with us about what's happening in the big yard is Island Administrator for Andros, Cleola Pinder, and the Assistant Administrator, Loretta Marshall. Good morning and welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
Good to be here.
Oh yeah, I love talking about the big yard. It's like, that's one of those places where, you know, as soon as you touch down on the runway, no matter if you're in North, Central, or South, you pull up on a boat, as soon as you step onto the big yard, you could feel it in your soul. You could feel it, you in God land, as some people would say, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes.
We're so excited to have you guys on the show this morning. So tell us about what's been happening in Andros. Tell us about developments in your district pre-COVID and now during COVID.
Well, you know, we had several developments in our district of Andros. As you know, North Andros is a farming and fishing community. Yeah. And before COVID, many persons were working, and during the COVID, things sort of decreased, and persons found it difficult to make ends meet, meaning that, persons could not feed their families, some persons, okay? And this is where the Bahamas Feeding Network stepped up to the plate. And so far, we have fed hundreds of persons, and the residents in North Andros is so grateful for this opportunity. Another development is BAMSI, and it's so interesting. I spoke to Dr. Roberts Hanner, and she alluded to the fact that pre-COVID, the School of Marine Science Institute only had an enrollment of 60 full-time students. Now they have an enrollment of 111 full-time students. So that means the interest has gone through the roof. And also, good news, she said that she is expecting for the fall semester an even bigger, greater increase. And what I also found interesting is that persons are no more going towards doing certificate courses at BAMSI. And one that I found really interesting is flat fishing, bonefish, flat fishing. And you just alluded to the fact that we are, I would say, the bone fishing capital of the world. Okay, so seeing that they are implementing a course in bone fishing, I am sure this is great news for our tourism sector. This is great news for the bone fishing lodge, because they would have a greater availability of fishing guides.
Yeah,
so we look forward to great things happening in Andros.
Yes, I love that idea of having a flat fishing course. I would actually take that up because I've never caught a bonefish in my life, shame to say.
Oh, you need to experience it.
I will. But definitely sounds like some wonderful things happening there. So what kind of toll is COVID-19 taking on the Andros community? You mentioned that persons have had to be a bit more versatile with, how they acquire their income and sourcing food, the community. So just give us an idea of what's been happening on the ground.
Well, like any other island, like all islands in the Bahamas, COVID has dealt a blow to all of us. And so first to say, residents are, feeling the pinch. We are all feeling the pinch, but some of them, especially in the private sector, have lost their jobs. Money is hard to come by. So they struggle, like I said, to make ends meet. But due to all of the lockdowns and the curfew measures imposed, because we have to try to limit the spread of COVID. Yes. The economy is slowly rebounding. Okay, you can feel it in the air as you go into the stores. Persons are purchasing more, and they want to do more, and that is the good. It gives hope. Yes. Okay, because we need, in the midst of this pandemic, the greatest thing is to feel some hope trickling through, and that is what we are feeling now in the district of North Andros.
Well, that's definitely very encouraging to hear. Just to reiterate what you said, most people across this country have felt the pinch of COVID-19 in various ways. And this is just to remind our viewers in Nassau that the family islands, the rest of the Bahamas, they're not immune to it. They might be immune from the other crazy stuff in Nassau, but not COVID, right? So tell us, how is the rollout of the COVID vaccine going there?
Well, the rollout for the COVID vaccine, it's going well. On, I think it was April 27th, we had persons that came in North Andros, Central Andros, and the Berry Islands, as well as South Andros. And so in the Berry Islands, we had 154 persons that would have received the vaccine. And in North Andros, we would have had 110 persons receive the vaccine. Now in Central, I believe they had a little bit more. One of the things that we heard persons say was that they wished it was another day. And so we do have some persons who wish they had taken it the day that the team was on the ground. And so perhaps if the health authorities see fit, they would come back and administer more, because we do have some persons now currently registered at the clinic to receive their dosage.
A number of persons were skeptical in the beginning. I think what they was doing was waiting and seeing what would happen to persons who would have taken the vaccine. And when they saw that everything was well, they came back the next day looking to get the vaccination. But of course, the team had already left. Right. So I believe we have around about 2,000 persons. That's only 10% that took the vaccine. So I'm hoping that the team would definitely be able to come back to vaccinate those other persons who would like to be vaccinated.
That's good. That's good news that persons are responding positively, making their decision to get vaccinated. And for those who aren't getting vaccinated, that maybe at some point along, they may or may not decide, but it's available. And we're gonna once again reiterate to the health officials that the big yard need another day.
That's right.
Yeah, you just can't have one day in the big yard, right? So tell us about the schools. I know that schooling has been a bit challenging in the COVID world. So how are schools and students doing?
Well, the schools and the students are doing fairly well, considering that they were one of some of the first schools to open their doors for face-to-face instruction, October 5th, 2020. So far, we have had 3 schools that had to be closed because of some kind of exposure to COVID for deep cleaning. But very shortly, they went back into the classroom. So I feel like the administrative staff are doing an excellent job to make sure or to ensure that all of the necessary protocols are carried out. Also at this time, I must commend the district superintendent for the North Andros and the Berry Island district and the DEO for doing a wonderful job in managing the schools as it relates to COVID at this time. And I must say that they're working very closely with the health officials to make sure that everything goes fine and our students and teachers, can't forget the teachers, and all of the staff are safe in this environment.
That's very encouraging. We, as you mentioned, the teachers are just as important as the students, and we have to make sure they're all okay and they have the right environment to work in and they're comfortable. So Island Administrator, before we go, I want you to let us know what makes Andros a jewel among our islands. Earlier we heard from Joy Jibrilu, and she talked about the family island visitation picking up and tourism starting to get some momentum. So tell us, what makes Andros a jewel and why should us Nassau people come on over there?
Andros is rich in natural resources. Fresh water, marine life, the flora, which is the plant life, the fauna, which is the animal life, birds, crabs. And as you mentioned, it has the 3rd largest barrier reef in the world. Yes. Its mangrove is home to the marine life nursery for the region. Yes. Andros has the largest concentration of flax in the region, as mentioned by my assistant. And it is where the tongue of the ocean is located. Community-based tourism is ideal for Andros and many of our family islands. I had a discussion with Peter Douglas. He is the manager for the Ministry of Tourism. And he said Andros tourism is built on outdoor attractions, such as fishing, which is fly fishing, nature tours, the barefoot luxuries at many of our resorts, our private resorts. The Bahamas Ministry of Tourism and Aviation has taken note of the high demand for a real authentically experience for vacationers in the post-COVID world. And Andros has all the attributes.
Yes, it does. It definitely does. I say that Andros is at the top of the list. It's the jewel of the Bahamas. So we'd like to thank Island Administrator Cleola Pinda for being on and talking with us. We'd also like to thank Assistant Administrator Loretta Marshall. You guys have marketed Andros very well. Yeah. You're going to have an influx of Nassauvians coming this weekend. So be careful. They say Nassau people in town tonight. Right.
And listen, Andros has the space. You can social distance. So that's
right.
Perfect. Ladies, I'd like to thank you again for coming on Bahamas at Sunrise, representing Andros, the big yacht. Can't wait till I'm back there again. Thanks for coming on this morning.
Okay, thank you for having us.
Great. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
The sports we play depend on the health we build. So let's stay healthy. Wear a mask and practice social distancing and hand washing to protect yourself and others. Remember, COVID-19 is not a game.
A public service message from the Bahamas Olympic Committee.
One thing, two things, blue thing, old things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right, and in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
That's going to do it for us today on Bahamas at Sunrise. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope that you enjoyed the show. And we're looking forward to seeing you again on Friday. Mark, thank you so much for filling in for Phil these past few days.
Yes, and Phil, we continue to send our thoughts and our prayers to you. And we look forward to having you back in the seat, back on the screen, bringing the sharpness as usual, my friend.
Indeed. Well, Mark, I want you and those beautiful boys that you have and your lovely wife to have a great week. And to all of our viewers, please do the same. We'll be back with more Bahamas at Sunrise on Friday.
Have a
Bye.
great week, everyone.